Hi there, YouTubers. We've been out shooting our new Vortec Suppressor, and we wanted to do a video to show you how to clean it when you get back home. We've been shooting this thing all day, and we've got, there must be 500 rounds through it. So we thought we'd present you with a video to show you just how easy this thing is to clean. Tools you're going to need are, of course, a crescent wrench to get it apart. You're going to need a 20 gauge and a 12 gauge bristle shotgun swab, and just a standard piece of 1/2 inch PVC. And in case the baffle won't come out, just a rubber hammer to lightly tap on the baffle to get it out. But let's go ahead and see if we can get this thing apart and see what it looks like after all the shooting we put through it today. Take a crescent wrench, undo the caps, there's an O-ring right behind these caps on each end, so make sure you don't want to lose those. But that baffle is stuck in there. Let's see if I can pick these O-rings out. There's 1, 2. I don't know how well you can see that, but that's pretty gunked up with carbon and lead residue. But it's just a matter of taking this. If it's stuck in there, it's just a matter of taking this PVC, and this is the exit end, and this is the blast chamber end. If you'll stick this thing inside that blast chamber, it'll fit. It'll press right down into the middle of that blast chamber, just like that. And you can push. You can push that baffle out. In fact, you can use this. You can use this to field clean. When you're out in the field, you can just, after, I don't know, 100 rounds or so, best thing to do, if you don't want a big mess when you get home, is just to do this after about 100 rounds. And put it back together and go back to shooting. I don't know if you can see this residue on this rag, and this just pops out. And all I'm going to do now is I'll be back with you in a second. I'm going to get me a bucket of hot soapy water, and I'll show you how to clean this baffle and tube. So I'll be back with you in just a second. Okay, we've got our bucket now of soapy water. This is just Dawn dishwashing liquid, I believe. And we've changed that camera view so you can see what's going on a little better. But it's just a matter of taking a 12 gauge swab and taking your tube, getting it down in this soapy water, and just swabbing it out. You can wash it off a little bit with your hands, but that swab gets that junk out of there pretty good. I don't know if y'all noticed, but I took this suppressor apart and it's dry. I like to shoot them dry because I just don't like the mess. When you get all that carbon and stuff mixed with oil or grease, it's just a filthy mess. And it's just as easy to, and you don't get that much sound reduction out of the shooting them wet anyway, so I shoot dry. And it's just a lot cleaner process. So you can see my fingers were black earlier and they're not black now. Then you can take the baffle And it's the same thing. I actually like to use the 20 gauge brush on the baffle. Because it fits in these holes a little easier. You can use a 12 gauge brush for this, but it's hard to push through them holes and pull through them. Not only that, it sprays junk all over the place. Just go through there and clean each one of these holes out. These baffles are made out of 416 stainless, so they're very, very corrosion resistant. It's the same stainless steel that we make our barrels out of. But you can go through there and just clean these holes out. Get you a Scotch-Brite pad if you want to, and clean the outside. Or brush, toothbrush, whatever you want. You know, it's not that big a deal. Now, if you want to, you can use a 22 or even probably even a 30 caliber brush to go through this hole. I just don't have one with me. As you can see, it cleans up pretty good. Get me a Scotch-Brite here and clean the outside of it. Let me get my Scotch-Brite. Okay, I got my Scotch-Brite, or you could even use a dishwashing scouring pad. That'll work too. But if you just want to go along the outside of this thing to get that black carbon off, works really, really good. You can use a toothbrush, you can use just about anything. Do not use a Scotch-Brite or a scouring pad on the tube, because it'll scratch it. But the baffle, you can use a Scotch-Brite or a scouring pad. Also, don't use any kind of cleaner that has sodium hydroxide in it. It's on the tube anyways. You could probably use it on the baffle. I don't recommend it because you don't want to get any of that on the tube, because it'll take the color off the tube and it'll actually etch into the aluminum. So nothing with sodium hydroxide in it. As you can see, just by taking some Scotch-Brite, going around this baffle, that all that black stuff has come off, and it's as good as new. You know, the end caps, just take a toothbrush and clean them up. These really aren't that dirty. Again, this is just soapy water. That's it. Let me get my rinse bucket here. That's pretty clean. As clean as I need it anyway, because I'm just going to go out and shoot it again. Let me get my rinse bucket. Okay, I've exchanged my soapy water for just some rinse water, and just take your parts and rinse them out. It's that simple. You can see that's pretty clean. That looks brand new. Caps. Just dry your parts off. through the center of it. Get it dry on the inside. Pull that through. And that's it. Wipe your O-rings off. Move this bucket. Now when you put this thing back together, you know, you can put oil in there if you want to. I just don't like to, because it's just messy. So what I'll do is I'll put the front cap on first, and it doesn't really matter which side you put it on. Then I'll drop the baffle in with the blast chamber up. I'll put the other O-ring in. You can if you want to, if you want to lube these O-rings with some Vaseline or some white lithium grease or really just about any lubricant, you can. I just prefer not to, because I don't like the mess. You just screw it together and cinch it up with a wrench. It's just that simple.